Hello everyone, and welcome to NoHuddle, a channel created by college football fans for college football fans. Here to say that it's never too late to start thinking about accolades for the season, nor is it ever too soon to start drafting up the all-offensive first team in college football, which is exactly what we're doing in this video. Before we dive into that, however, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more college football content. Without further ado, let's get right into it with our pick at quarterback. Surprise, surprise, Caleb Williams comes in as our pick for all-offensive first team in 2023, and you can't blame us. In 2023, Caleb Williams will look to repeat as the Heisman Trophy winner, which would make him only the second player to do so if he does indeed win again. Williams broke the USC quarterback record last season for total offensive yards with 4,919, and touchdowns accounted for with 52. It's clear to see, based on his 42 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, he's a gifted passer. But let's not forget, he added 10 touchdowns on the ground, which clearly shows how dynamic he is. He's a quarterback that can stay in the pocket long enough to get off a great pass, but scrambles out of it when a play breaks down. We picked USC to win the Pac-12, something they did not do last year, and part of it had to do with Caleb Williams' success. Another big thing we believe that helps Williams is he's more confident in himself and the team. With last year being his first with the Trojans and with head coach Lincoln Riley, Williams said there was a lot of uncertainty within the season. Now, he's more confident he can have another successful season, and the team can as well. With a higher level of confidence, it's not as hard to imagine the 2022 Heisman winner having another remarkable year. Let's not forget, Blake Corum was on his way to an award-winning season for Michigan a year ago before a left knee injury. As a result, Corum missed the game against Purdue and TCU in the college football playoff semifinals, and if he was a part of the TCU game, maybe the result would have been different. Regardless, Corum can't wait for the 2023 season. According to ESPN's senior writer Chris Lowe, Corum said he's better than ever. In 2022, Corum rushed for 1,463 yards and averaged 5.9 yards per carry with 18 touchdowns in the season before the injury. The key to his success in 2023 may sound strange, but he won't be forced to carry too heavy, so this should help him in a way because it's more likely he remains healthy. Instead of being forced into being the heavy featured back and risk injury, Corum has a sidekick in Donovan Edwards with him in the backfield. We believe Corum can duplicate these numbers in 2023, and his health should be better if he's not pushed as much. If the backfield duo of Corum and Edwards allow both backs to remain healthy, then Corum can easily be an all-offensive player. He makes it as one of our 2 running back choices on NoHuddle. In an offense that ranked 3rd nationally in rushing yards per game, rushing back Quinshon Judkins played a major role in the Rebels' offense. With 1,567 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns, Judkins led the SEC in both those categories. In his first year at Ole Miss, Judkins averaged 5.7 yards per carry in 13 games. He had 8 games of at least 100 yards rushing and even mixed in 2 games of 200 yards rushing performances. While it's not as well known as Caleb Williams, Judkins feels more confident heading into 2023, but he probably does feel better heading into his second year with more comfort and familiarity with the college game, and if so, Judkins can have easily a similar success in 2023. Perhaps the best college football talent in 2023, not named Caleb Williams, Harrison Jr. is the most dynamic receiver a coach could ask for. His 6'4" frame at 205 pounds, along with his playmaking ability and quickness, the Ohio State receiver is arguably a generational talent. In his sophomore season, Harrison Jr. caught 77 passes for 1,263 yards and 14 touchdowns. He was top 20 in receptions in all of college football, 6th in receiving yards, and 4th in receiving touchdowns. This junior year, he's coming back with a vengeance and hoping he gets another shot at the University of Georgia. If he plays as well as he did last season, a rematch is certainly in the cards. At NoHuddle, we believed in the development of Quinn Ewers and his progression into a top QB. Thus, we extend the same belief in Longhorns receiver Xavier Worthy. He led the team in receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns in 2022. If Ewers takes a step forward, then so could Xavier Worthy. What may also help Worthy, some would say ironically, is the addition of wide receivers around him. Texas got the best wide receiver in the transfer portal with Adonai Mitchell, or known as AD, from UGA, and recruited Jonte Cook, who is a 4-star wide receiver himself. Now, with more weapons, it can be argued Worthy gets lost in the shuffle, but he could just as easily do better now that he's not the only deep threat guy for Texas. While 2022 was a step back for Worthy in the 3 major categories, receptions, yards, and touchdowns, we do believe he'll rebound in 2023. Rome Odunze broke out in a big way for his junior season in 2022. With him and Michael Penix Jr. returning after he also had a monster year, you get the feeling Odunze can replicate his numbers in 2023. His 77 receptions made him 21st in the country and 3rd in the Pac-12 behind Jacob Cowing and teammate Jalen McMillan. He ranked 10th in the country and led the Pac-12 in receiving yards with 1,145. What helps Odunze is the same thing that helps Xavier Worthy of Texas: other talented receivers around him. As we mentioned, Jalen McMillan was 2nd in receptions for the Pac-12 and makes it so that Rome Odunze is not the only wide receiver threat. Therefore, defenses won't focus solely on him downfield and instead be worried about the dynamic duo Washington has. After a breakout year of his caliber, we have Rome Odunze making it as our 3rd receiver on our all-offensive team. Arguably the best tight end in the sport, Brock Bowers easily makes our list for all-offensive team in what should be a solid junior season for the Californian. In 2022, Bowers placed 40th in the country for receiving yards with 942. This was the 2nd best among tight ends, as Syracuse Orange tight end Oron Gadsden II finished with 969 in his breakout sophomore season. But Bowers' 2 seasons with the Bulldogs showed sustained greatness, as he has combined for 20 receiving touchdowns and 4 rushing touchdowns. He's led the team in receiving yards and touchdowns both years, which by the way culminated in 2 national championships. The only minor distinction is in 2022 he tied for the lead in touchdowns with Ladd McConkey. There's a lot of questions around Georgia for the 2023 season, which is to be expected after 2 championships, replacing your QB that got you those title games and filling in defensive holes. But what cannot be questioned is Brock Bowers' impact on this Georgia Bulldogs team. He's our easy pick for the all-offensive team at the tight end position. Joe Alt is arguably one of the best tackles in college football, and in the 2022 season, he demonstrated as much behind a stellar season. Now, stats for the offensive line can be a bit obscure and not as easy to track, but listen to these and you tell us if these are good. In the 2022 season, Joe Alt allowed 6 quarterback hurries and he never allowed a sack. Pro Football Focus ranked Alt with both the highest graded offensive tackle at 91.4 and most valuable tackle in college football in wins above average. He won All-American honors for the 2022 season, and in his junior season, he can easily sustain that success, and he's already considered one of the best offensive linemen heading into 2023. According to Pro Football Focus, Cooper Beebe has not allowed a sack in 803 pass blocking plays. Whether it be at left guard, left tackle, or right tackle, Beebe has certainly made an impact for the Kansas State Wildcats. He's already a proven lineman, as evidenced by his strong 2022 season, where he was a first-team All-American and the recipient of the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. With a prolonged period of not allowing a sack, it's clear he can sustain a high level of play, one which we believe will make him a good pick for our 2023 All-Offensive team at NoHuddle. According to Pro Football Focus, the Bulldogs have the 2nd best offensive line in the country. A big part of this is because of Cedric Van Pran. To get deeper into stats for offensive linemen, here is one for you regarding Van Pran. Here's what PFF said. Over the past 2 seasons, Van Pran has allowed a sack or hit on just 0.2% of his pass blocking snaps, tied for 7th among Power 5 centers. He started every game for the Georgia Bulldogs, and let's not forget this team is going for a 3-peat in the 2023 season. Not to mention, he was one of the top offensive linemen generating buzz for the NFL, but he decided to come back to anchor the Georgia O-line. A lot of people do believe in him, and we at NoHuddle do too. Cedric Van Pran makes our all-offensive team. It'll be an interesting season season for Mahogany, returning from an ACL tear. There's no doubt he's talented and can make an impact for the War Eagles, but he must stay healthy. When the offseason approached, Mahogany considered going pro despite being injured, and he was projected as the second best guard in NFL mock drafts before the injury. There's a lot of intrigue around this man, and good reason, because an ACL tear derails careers easily. But we think he can bounce back and have a great season. Christian Mahogany, Boston College War Eagle, one of our picks for all-offensive team. We picked the Nittany Lions to win the Big Ten Conference Championship because of how they went heavy on their offensive line. They recruited 5-star Javen Williams, 4-star Alex Birchmeyer, and 4-star Chimdiono. But the biggest thing is the return of Olumiwa Fashanu. He was a second-team All-Big Ten awarded by the coaches and third-team All-American awarded by Phil Steele. There's talent there clearly, and in 281 pass-blocking snaps, he allowed no sacks. If Penn State can have a better O-line in this upcoming season, Fashanu would be a monumental part of that improvement. He is our pick for the all-offensive team on the O-line. This about wraps up our all-offensive team for the 2023 season. Let us know in the comments what you think of our picks. Who would you pick for your 2023 all-offensive team? Who are you most excited for in the upcoming season? Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more college football content.